Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the week that was. I'm Austin the Stash. Joining me, as she does every week, the one and only Melanie Wilkinson.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. And this is going to be the last week that was for a couple weeks.
For a couple of weeks,
You're taking a vacation. I've got state wrestling, so...
Yeah, so we'll get back together as soon as...
End of February.
Everybody's done doing their thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a good time. But for today... The week that was, a couple of interesting things. A lot of them a couple of them having to do with street safety.
Street safety,
the big thing.
Well, a mom here in York reached out to me this last week out of the blue. I didn't know her and wanted to talk to me about some concerns she had. So her name is Cheyenne Snyder. And she recently moved to York from Grand Island to the Vistas. That's that new housing area over by Miller Park. It's on the north side of 19th Street. Mm-hmm. And they, it's that brand new housing area. And there's a lot of families that live over there in those duplexes. Well, she lives over in that area, and she has two little boys. One's 8, one's 11. And every day they walk down to the intersection of Linden Avenue, and they cross 19th Street to go over to Miller Park, where there's a bus stop. Mm-hmm. And about 11 kids convene at that bus stop every morning. About 6 or 7 of those kids come from that housing area on the north side of 19th Street. So the other morning, it was a normal morning. Her kids went to the bus stop, and they know to look both ways, and the older one is supposed to, walk with the little one.
Sure, 100%.
Well, apparently that didn't quite happen the way that she had planned, and she started getting these phone calls from a strange number she didn't know. Mm-hmm. We all know what we do. We don't answer them, right?
Right, yeah, you wait for the voicemail to come in.
But after it persisted, she went ahead and answered it, and it was a woman here in York who was just distraught because... Cheyenne's little boy, the 8-year-old, had run out without looking, and she hit him with her car.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So the woman, the older son gave this woman their mom's phone number, and so she was calling her to tell her, "I'm over here on 19th Street.
You need to get over here."
And she actually then just drove him back home, and he wasn't hurt badly, thank God.
Yeah,
because. And like Cheyenne said too, this was not this woman's fault. It was just something that happened, and they took him to the medical clinic. The woman then called the police and told him what had happened, made a police report about it.
I would imagine they're a mandatory reporter. They have to make a...
Well, I mean, the lady did the right thing, the one who was driving the car. Sure.
100%.
And so the police followed up with Cheyenne at the medical clinic to make sure everybody was okay, and he was. But what that is prompted is Cheyenne asking the question about a safer crossing in that area for kids going to that bus stop, because there isn't a crosswalk there, and there's no sign saying school crossing.
Sure.
She even brought up, could we have flashing lights? Well, that's a little more complicated.
Always a little more complicated.
But also, could there be a lower speed limit on 19th Street? Well, since she asked the question, and she just asked the city's consideration to just do, is there anything anybody can do? Because there is so much traffic on that street, especially in the mornings and afternoons, because it's right by the high school.
Right.
There's a lot of people using that area, going to the middle school, elementary school, pickup.
Totally.
Whatever. Well, since we put that out there, a lot of people have been talking about, how social media is. Yeah. But it's been mostly constructive, where people have been talking about, yes, we need to have lower speed limits there. And they're also suggesting other areas in town to make it safer for pedestrians. And I wanted to say too, this is part of Project Access York in the future.
Sure.
That'll be creating more pedestrian safety. Now, this area isn't really included in that program, but you know that the city will have their radar on this and be looking at it.
Absolutely.
So she took a bad situation and now is, and kind of there's a little uprising of mommies in town who are asking for other areas to be considered too for some signage or maybe even just lowering the speed limit.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like it's anything crazy. It just is, couple of parents are looking for a way to keep their kids
safe. So, yeah, so what could have been really bad didn't happen, but this might help avoid that in the future. So.
Very nice. Well, that's as good of news to come out of what could have been an awful story.
Bad. I know. So, and then I think the same day it was the same day I met with her. We had another bad accident along Highway 81 in York County.
Man.
This one, though, was down by McCool at the intersection of Road 3, where someone driving a minivan pulled out in front of a semi.
Jeez.
And,
what is the deal with Highway 81?
Well, it's 4-lane. It's fast.
It is fast.
I mean, it's 70 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's that people don't gauge how fast the traffic is moving.
Maybe. Could be.
Maybe it's difficult to cross all 4 lanes.
Crossing all 4 lanes would be...
Well, I mean,
when you think about the only other... Not the only other, but, one of the few 4-lane roads there are in the state, that's the interstate. Every single crossing is going over it.
And like the investigators, which it's always the York County Sheriff's Department... It is baffling though, because when that highway was reconstructed to be 4-lane, there were a lot of considerations about sight distances and things like that. I mean, and there was no weather problems, and it could just be
bad luck.
Well, or you just weren't paying attention. I don't know.
But for some reason, Highway 81 has a ton of accidents.
And it really is concentrated here in York County.
Yeah.
Now, years ago, when they created the bypass, which was part of this project, they created the bypass down around Geneva. There were a lot of accidents down in that area at first. Now it all kind of seems to have shifted up here in York County, and we're repeaters. So that's just something I just have to say that every time I'm at an intersection with Highway 81,
you just got to take
I might sit there too long.
Absolutely.
And people behind me might think I'm crazy, but I'm like, no, let's look 4 times.
Yeah. And if you're driving on Highway 81, when you see an intersection, be ready. Yeah. Be prepared.
You just don't know.
Yeah, because people are... people are crazy.
So that happened.
But, something that may be causing these accidents is a lack of following stop signs. This is my attempt at a transition into
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
The county is replacing a number of stop signs.
A lot of stop signs. Now, this project started a while ago when the state had a program that said, hey, if you want to replace all your stop signs, we'll provide all the signs, all the posts, all the materials you need. You have to do the work yourself.
Sure.
But
you got all the materials. If you've got the manpower.
And it would have cost $164,000. But since the county's like, sure, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Took a while to get everything. But here's the kicker though. There's 1,300.
Ooh, wow.
We have 1,300 in the county, stop signs and stop ahead signs. Now these are going to be not going to be. There's 400 now that have been installed.
Okay.
I haven't seen one myself, but the commissioners were talking about it this week. They are reflective in the dark. So if you're driving, it's almost like they're lit.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's basically, if you have headlights on, it will pop up.
Yeah, like Harvey Kime, our highway superintendent, says, if you cannot see these stop signs, then that means you had no intention of ever stopping at a stop sign.
That's for sure.
You cannot miss them. In the dark, in the rain, in the whatever, they glow.
Well, that's fantastic.
So they have 400 of them replaced. So there's a lot more to go, but they have till November to get them all in.
Nice.
2 guys have been doing this.
It's two guys. 2 people?
2 guys have been assigned to this project.
Whoa.
Now, they've had to stop during the winter because there's something about the cold and the frost does something to the bases So it needs to warm up a little bit before they get at it again. But yeah, 2 guys are replacing 1,300 stop signs in York, but we'll
Good
have all reflective, all brand new, can't miss them, and the new stop ahead signs where they at problematic intersections. So you get double
There you go.
the signage letting you know,
hey,
put the brakes on.
stop.
Oh my gosh.
Man, the first thing that came to my mind was there are some people that are definitely thinking right now, oh, new targets.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
Oh man,
I don't know why people do that.
Because the O, they're trying the O is like a
it's like-
target.
Really?
Listen, I have not done this. I am not a hunter. I don't shoot guns all the
Right.
time, but I have had people that are not friends of mine, but people I know.
Yeah.
That this was back when I lived in Holdridge. They would go out to the Wilcox area and they would take their rifle with their scope, and that's how they would scope in on the O of the stop sign. And that's how they did it. It's not smart. It's not legal.
It's target practice.
It's
is
target
what you're saying.
practice is
I've
what
never
it is.
understood why people wanted to do it. Now I do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Well, no, still don't get it.
I still don't get it. It's still vandalism.
Exactly.
Okay.
There are cheaper ways of
and don't
citing.
steal these signs either.
Please don't steal these
because
signs.
if
What are they doing with the old signs?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, if you want a stop sign, maybe now's the time.
Well, certainly they'll do something recycling. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
You can't.
You're the journalist. You should ask the question.
I will. Good. That never ever occurred to me. Where are all those signs going to go?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're going to recycle them, or they aren't going to reuse them. I don't know.
I wouldn't imagine you would reuse them. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I don't know.
Recycling makes the most sense.
Okay, thank you for the assignment.
Of course, 100%. Normally, you're the one handing over assignments to me. Not this time.
We'll handle this in questions of the week.
Perfect.
Because I would have never thought of that. Okay, I'm writing it down.
All right.
What will happen to the old signs?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Because there are plenty of people that love, there are plenty of restaurants that have stop signs up and all that sort of stuff for decoration.
And don't steal the new ones, because if you steal the new ones and you put them out in your yard,
it's going to be pretty easy
law
to tell.
enforcement will see them glowing in the dark.
Just a real quick.
So,
woo!
Yeah. So, okay. All right. Consider this my new thing today. So,
fantastic.
Okay, good question.
All right. And then last but certainly not least.
So last week we kind of talked a little bit.
We had a moment where we went, hold on.
Wait up. Okay. So we all know this presidential freeze on federal grants.
Yes.
So one of the questions came up about, you start thinking, okay, how does that impact us locally? Well, remember we talked about not too long ago how the county attorney's office got almost $2 million for that brand new pilot program for adult diversion.
Yes.
And then also to enhance our juvenile diversion program.
Yes.
So it's a lot of money. It's a brand new program. They're really in the thick of it, formulating what this program is going to look like as far as mental health services, drug counseling services, rehabilitation, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So they're already well into it. Well, yesterday it was discussed that yes, they've been given the go-ahead by the White House. They can keep going.
Okay, great.
So that type of grant is not one that's on the radar.
Gotcha.
It's a crime commission grant. They said, go ahead and keep moving forward.
Have at it.
So that's good news for that. So not only are they moving forward, as we speak, right this minute, a contingency from York County is actually in Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Josh Gillespie, Tristan Perry, Gary Olson, Laura McDougall, and Andy Bowman are all working together on this committee to create these programs. Mm-hmm. They're there talking to officials about our needs for these services in York County. They're not selling it because we already got the grant.
Right.
But what I think is going to happen is this program might become something that's modeled all over the country. Mm-hmm. And it's going to need some extra money from somewhere to help get it off the ground in different locations, which is it's pretty neat that it's going to be innovative. Anyhow, so they all flew to Washington yesterday. They're presenting I think, to like congressional committees and some other things about this new innovative idea for rural America.
Okay.
So not only is the grants money staying,
but also
they're
going
out,
above and
they're
beyond.
out promoting. So they're in the
Very
Capitol
nice.
as we speak. So
Well, I tell you what, that's a pretty fascinating week that was.
It was. It's kind of all over the place, but it's...
But it's
that's
what's going on in York County.
It is.
mean, it's pretty wild. It's not just people hanging out and watching fields.
No.
Very nice.
All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thank
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Of course, all those stories and more available at justmelaniw.com.
It is.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See ya.